Hello everyone, we warmly welcome you all to our special program brought to you by Indian Achievers Forum. I'm your host Manasa Das. Indian Achievers Award is an honor that celebrates people who went extraordinary to effectuate their dreams and aspirations. With this series, we not only focus on the struggles and the achievements of such individuals, but also the social contributions they have made to their native land, India. Before we take you towards such achievement, let's take a look at this model.
Indian Achievers Forum is driven by a full-fledged advisory board. The board consists of experienced personalities who have excelled in their respective careers. Together, the forum organizes conferences, events, workshops, exhibitions, trade shows, and B2B initiatives in India as well as abroad. Where there is passion, there is achievement. And where there is achievement, there is Indian Achievers Forum.
Today we have with us Arpit Chaudhary, who is a senior software engineer. With a drive for innovation, Arpit simplifies complex problems and delivers new solutions at an enterprise scale. Recognized with the International Achievers Award, his 8-year journey includes collaboration with tech giants like Apple, Amazon, Adobe, and Philips. As a senior software engineer, Arpit specializes in scalable backend systems, empowering enterprises to enhance efficiency and agility. Hello, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I hope the same for you.
Yes, sir. So, given your impressive background, can you please tell me something about yourself and what a day in your life looks like?
Sure. This is Arpit Chaudhary, and I'm a senior software engineer. And most of the career, I've focused on the backend software systems. So these backend systems are what power all the web applications you interact with. And they also take care of other complex workflows for important processing that enterprises need. So my responsibilities include designing, implementing, and then iterating over the backend software systems. So depending on the day, I'm either working on minor tweaks to current software or building new features or new systems from scratch altogether. And software development is a very collaborative effort. So almost every day I'm collaborating with other developers by reviewing their work, asking them for feedback on my work. So I'm able to learn almost every day. I really like that about this particular job.
So, you have won International Achievers Award. So, how did it feel to have such recognition for your work?
It is exciting. So I'm really happy to have received the esteemed International Achievers Award, and I would like to thank the Indian Achievers Forum for it, for giving it to me. And this award is a reflection of people I've worked with because I've learned a lot on the job from them, and that has helped me to be here where I am today. And thank you for it.
So now I would really want to know what inspired you to pursue a career in software engineering. And as they often say that motivation is what gets you started, but it's the determination that keeps you going. So how did that initial drive or motivation evolve for you over the course of your career?
So I guess that starts from a very young age. So I was always interested in computers when growing up, and Logo was the first language I learned back then. And somehow writing code to draw simple shapes like circles, rectangles was interesting to me then. As I grew up, I continued on that path and became a software engineer. Even though it is probably a default path for many in my generation, but I did choose to be a software developer because of my obsession with computers at a young age. And I like the idea of designing complex systems, solving problems at scale. I like that minor changes that we do in software have big impacts because they're able to affect millions of lives around the globe. Even though they're small impacts, we are still affecting a large population. So that is something that really motivates me to continue working in this field.
So in a typical development team, what role do you usually play?
Mhm. Um, So I've worked in this field for around 8 years now. So I have had some time in this field, and I like to think of software developers as problem solvers. So uh, essentially, most of the time, what we are trying to do is solve problems, and we use software for it. For example, at my last job, I worked at solving a very real world business problem and designing a software system end to end from scratch. And that helped overall business flow to be much more efficient by making it less tedious and less prone. Uh, so it really helps by automating a lot of manual, frequently done tasks in big firms, and if we are able to automate them and take out some of the manual effort, it really helps us to not make the manual errors that humans do make. And we do spend a lot of time looking at options that we could use for different components. So most of the time we want to reuse what we already have available, and we only write logic for something that is required. So most of the time we are trying to put already solved pieces of puzzle together. For example, what database to use, what API framework to use, how to connect them together. All of that has already been done by someone. It's just that we are using them in a different setup for solving the problem that we have. Um, so that being said, the size of problem to evolve as one grows in the software development career. Junior software developers solve a smaller problem in code or implement a smaller part of a designed bigger system. And as a software engineer grows in their career, they solve a much bigger problem by dividing the problem into smaller pieces so that they can be worked on together by a team of engineers. So right now, I guess in short, I I do break bigger problems into smaller ones and then make decisions on several trade-offs so that we have a software in the end that solves our real world problem. And I have a team to do it with, so I'm not really doing it alone.
So my next question would be a continuation to my previous question only. So as a software engineer, what's the most rewarding aspect of your work?
Mhm. So building software is a very iterative task. For example, in case of building a house, you build it, and once it's done, you cannot really make drastic changes to it anymore. But in case of software, we are able to build something, get it out, get feedback, and iterate on it much quicker. So we are able to see improvements end to end relatively quickly, and we always are making improvements a bit at a time. So being able to see these improvements every month, every week is something that I really appreciate.
Very well, sir. So, as we've often heard that balancing speed and quality is often a challenge in software development. So, how do you manage to move quickly while also ensuring the long-term success of your projects?
Yeah, I mean, this is a difficult question to answer, but let me try to put a take on it. So most of the time taken in software development is because of making suboptimal decisions, and most of these difficult decisions uh, are based on assumption or speculation about what the user needs. So we we do get to know about the facts about user needs and liking once we put something out and get feedback. So if we are trying to perfect a system based on our assumptions, what if they do not turn out to be true anyways? So in that case, we wasted a lot of time perfecting it, and we started getting feedback much later than we would have if we released it sooner. So we have to, as you said, strike a balance between delivering usable software with good user experience and do it quickly to be able to get feedback. So depending on how close you are with the user, this balance between agility and perfection would change. For an internal team, for example, that I work closely with, I can probably start delivering software which is much less polished and get feedback much quicker than I would want to deliver to a paying customer. To a paying customer, we probably want to give them a much polished product and get feedback much quicker through prototypes before we even start building. So I've learned about this concept of one-way versus two-way door decisions at Amazon, and it has helped me make these decisions well over the years. So it is less important to make the right decisions for some of them versus others, because it is easy to backtrack some changes, some decisions versus others. So, for example, using blue versus green button. If we turn out to make the wrong decision and let's say users do not like the color that we choose, it is easy to change versus making a bigger decision of, let's say, building a desktop website versus a mobile application. We cannot, we can probably make a change and switch to a different option later, but it would be much more difficult to do that. So minor changes like blue versus green button is more of a one-way door decision. So what I've learned is we have to put in more effort and time to make the right decision on one-way door decisions versus two-way door decisions. And that probably helps us balance agility versus perfection a little bit easier.
Right, so you have an amazing professional journey, I must say. So, what are some key lessons you have learned throughout your career which have made a significant impact on how you approach your work?
Uh-huh. So something that I wish I learned much earlier is the importance of soft skills and making connections. So being able to talk to people and convince them through written or verbal communication is very important. We do work in a team, and a high degree of collaboration is required for the team and for us to succeed. Uh, I believe that during our education, we place a good amount of importance on technical skills, but not enough on soft skills. So soft skills they become much more important as we grow in our career. So that's something I wish I learned sooner.
So, can you share some strategies on how you manage the work-life balance in a demanding field such as software engineering?
Yeah, so I think most of the job roles in today's digital economy, and software developers are one of them, we are paid for impact rather than strictly time spent. So in short, if we can work more efficiently, we spend less time on work to provide the same amount of impact. And I mean, that's probably a little high level of an advice, but we have to focus on getting or working smart rather than working hard. So we have to understand what is needed most and spend more effort on more impactful and more important tasks. This is important, and we have project and product managers at team level who do this, but everyone needs to do some part of this every day at individual level as well. And on similar lines, specifically for software engineers, make sure to also spend time on paying tech debt, so you are able to deliver subsequent changes faster. In software world, tech debt is anything that could slow us down, like badly written part of the code or not having automation for something that needs to be done frequently.
Right, so what's that? My last question for today would be: what's that one message or the holy mantra you would like to share with the aspiring software engineers who are just starting out their careers?
Mm-hmm. So field of software engineering has been changing every year. So it is evolving very quickly, and we are always learning new technologies to be able to solve different problems or solve problems more efficiently. So be agile, flexible, and always ready to learn. It is really important to learn almost every day when you are a software developer. And when you're starting out your career, be curious to understand the bigger picture with all the projects that you work on. One day you should be in a place where you are designing software systems end to end, and you're no longer focusing on writing a small piece of code, but you are responsible for making it work end to end. So to be able to do it well, you need to learn from past projects and understand what worked and what didn't for those past projects that you worked on. Writing code for small components is easier to learn theoretically, but designing bigger systems could be considered art to an extent. So it needs some real world experience to learn. So you can either wait to make your own mistakes and learn from them, or start learning earlier through the experiences of other software engineers you're working with.
That's indeed an amazing piece of advice, sir. So that brings us to the end of this interview. Thank you so much for joining with us. May you continue to inspire us the same in the future.
Thank you so much.